Set 9.5 is about to launch. That means it's time to climb, baby. And to do that, you must learn these 10 comps in order to get a head start on everyone else when starting your climb. I made this list of 10 comps based off my experience of playing over 100 games on the PvE server, as well as my experience as a multi-set challenger player, and I've been covering the meta for years. So with that out of the way, let's get into this. First up, we have Vertical Ionia and Vanquishers. Now, you may notice there's an emblem on my board right now. I really think everyone should be playing Earth. Like, everyone really should be practicing Earth. It might not be the legend that you have to commit to full time at the beginning of the grind, but Earth is very powerful right now, and I think will be very powerful on launch. Definitely worth learning. There are loads of emblems that are super good. And if you guys want to know more about why I think Earth is good and other legends that you can play on launch, then I put a video on that on the channel just for that. So make sure and check that out. Leave in the end card of today's video and in the pinned comment. But without delay, let's do this. Okay, so this is an emblem-based build. And for those of you guys who don't want to play Earth, I have 5 emblem-based builds, and then I have some rerolls as well as some standard comps you can look to play if you don't want to go for emblems or play Earth and that sort of thing. But first up, we have this, right? And so this fits perfectly, guys. We have 4 Vanquisher, 6 Ionia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 spots. You can roll for this board on 7, and then you can cap your board with whatever makes sense. Just a random legendary, Heimerdinger, Aatrox, whatever. If you end up getting an extra Juggernaut emblem as well, then playing Aatrox is perfect here because you can have 4 Juggernaut. Nyla items right here. Nyla, you just put an RFC, the emblem, +1. She works with like random garbage. You can do another RFC, you can do a BT, you can do a Titans, you can do a Deathblade, whatever. She works with a lot of random garbage. Xayah over here. Xayah, I really like Deathblade and Last Whisper. You can dip in more into crit because you do get more damage. Even though you have Vanquisher that allows you to crit, you can deal more crit damage if you go over the cap. It does increase your critical strike damage. So you can do more crit right here if you need to. Guardbreaker, all that stuff. Loads of good items. I think Runaan's Hurricane is some tech that a lot of people are sleeping on. I'm not sure if it's best in slot, but I've been playing it a lot. It does apply whenever she does her spellcast. The Runaan's does proc at the time of making this video. So I really do like Runaan's. And then also you can additionally go for Karma items. I find a lot of times when I'm playing this vertical that I end up hitting a Karma too early in the game. Maybe I'm rolling on 6 and when I roll on 7. And if I have some random AP items and I don't have a place to put them on your Karma. Karma can carry pretty well on stage 3 and stage 4. She can be a very good additional carry to your team. And then you can just transition these items to Ahri and you're good to go. Augments, I like you have my sword. It just allows you to get your Deathblade. It allows you to get another Nyla item, all the good stuff. Maybe you end up itemizing Darius. Usually I don't itemize Darius unless I randomly have a 3-star angle or I'm able to play vertical Juggernauts. Then I can itemize him. And then Stolen Vitality is going to be great for you as well. It's just the Vanquisher Augment. Next up here, we have Vertical Demacia and Slayer. As you see here, we only have 2 traits active, Demacia and Slayer, but that's fine because our Slayer and our Demacias are the ones that are carrying. So this is a Quinn reroll build, and it may look a little bit weird to you. When you guys play reroll builds, you're probably used to seeing multiple 3-stars because typically that's how you play rerolls. But I actually find this build to be very stable on Quinn 2-star, and so you can end up rolling for a board that looks something like this, minus Kiana on 7, and roll for this board. The indicator to play this obviously is going to be a Demacia emblem. You can also play with the Slayer emblem and your build looks a little bit different. Not going to go too deep into that. But if you have a Demacia emblem, it's going to look like this. Roll for this board on 7, then push 8, add your Kiana, and then we can look for our Quinn 3-star on 8 along with our 2-star 4 cost, all that good stuff. Cool. So I really like this build. Looking at Quinn's items right here, so the Radiant one is the one that you're guaranteed by Demacia. They may end up change these things a lot, but this is the one that you're guaranteed from Demacia. And then I like IE as well. A lot of times you're hitting the backline, especially against a lot of backline focused comps that have a lot of units just sitting on the back row. You're going to get a lot of value from that, and you can even get a lot of value from columns and that sort of thing. And so yeah, I really like IE there. And then I really like Spear of Sojin. So they actually buffed Spear of Sojin for AD users. It says 10% on my screen right now, but it's actually 15% attack damage now. And so I really like it on Quinn. I think they did that intentionally so people would try it on units like Quinn, units like Xayah, units like Aphelios. So I actually really like this board. I played this last night, felt pretty strong, and we'll look for this. And then on Fiora, I went double Sterak's. Sterak's is a Radiant item that you get. I went double Sterak's, and then I went a Titans. She never actually got low enough to die, and I actually really like this. But additionally, you can put random garbage on Fiora, and she works out pretty well, like BT, IE, Giant Star, all that good stuff. And then on Mordekaiser, his Radiant item that you're guaranteed is the Baron's Gift, or Nashor's, it's just Radiant Nashor's. And then lastly, you can put whatever you want on him. Like BT is good. You know, you do get some healing from Slayer, but you can go BT, Jewel Gauntlet, whatever. You can go in RFC, right, and put him lower, back on your team a little bit more. But yeah, guys, you just roll for this board minus Kiana on 7. Pretty simple. Indicator to play this is a Demacia Crest. I like things like You Have My Sword, Slayer's Resolve is good, but there's a lot of good augments that you can play with this. Next up is the Bastion Aphelios comp, and there are a bunch of different variations to play this. Now, I'm just showing you guys like the easiest one hit. The indicator to play this is when you get Bastion Crest, or maybe you start the game with Transfusion, something like that. And then getting something like Morning Light is extremely powerful as well if you're already going to be dipping into the vertical. If you can chase 8 Bastions, like maybe get 2 emblems or whatever, chasing 8 Bastions is definitely worth going for, but I wouldn't just like grief your board to play it. That's if you have multiple emblems. And additionally, something to call out before I talk about the Soraka and all this stuff is if it is Ixtal Rise, we are going to play Rise here instead of Soraka. And then you just frontline the Rise. I have Soraka frontlined right here. You don't necessarily have to frontline her, but she's really just there as a synergy bot in this comp. And with Bastion Emblem, she can be quite tanky on the front line and get multiple cast off even while being a backliner on the front line because she is so tanky. So anyways, I like this. This is a duo carry Silco and Aphelios board. I'll talk about Silco a little bit here. You should really view Silco as an off carry. He is not there to main carry. I'm sure he'll have some main carry comps eventually. But if you guys played set 6, he is just Renata. I don't need to explain more than that. If you played set 6, he's Renata. You just kind of make him like a drain healing tank. So like things like Blue Buff, Morello, Gunblade, that is almost certainly going to be his best in slot. I'm sure he'll have some carry patches, but this is what we want to go for here. And then Aphelios is really the star of the show here. And I'm not certain what his best items are. They did buff his Moonlight visual damage whenever he actually throws out his ultimate. So I've actually been liking IE. I'm not sure if IE or Deathblade is going to be better on him right now. But I've been having some good experiences with Infinity Edge. And then Giant Slayer, I think, is a very good item to have here. A lot of people are rerolling, and then you get a lot of value in the end of the game with Giant Slayer, of course. Definitely go Deathblade if a lot of people are playing Bramble Vest. Bramble Vest is a very popular item right now, but they did nerf it. But if Vanquishers end up being meta, a lot of people will be building Bramble Vest. So look to swap this out for Deathblade and that sort of thing if you want to do that. There are some other variations you can play here. You could play Gunner, right? You could if the Zon is Virulent, which is by far the best one for Silco, and if Silco is providing a lot of damage for your team, you could play Jinx here as well to give you Gunner and give you Zone. That can be effective, and we're good to go. Next up is 6 Challenger Azir, and this is probably my favorite comp. I really like playing this. I don't force this or anything. I don't think any comp is really worthy of forcing. Maybe Reroll Rogues are worthy of forcing right now, but other than that, I just really like this comp, and the indicator to play this is just a Challenger Crest. If you get multiple Challenger Crests, you can really do some crazy stuff with this build. But anyways, this is an Azir Fiora duo carry, and then additionally you can trio carry a Kaisa that can be quite nice. I've had angles where I've had reroll Nefiri just based off of some portals we played on where it just like gives you a bunch of units for whatever, like Rat Town, stuff like that. I've ran Nefiri as a carry in this build as well, so those are the units you can look for, these 3, and then if you have the angle, you can look for Nefiri 3 on 6 or 7, and it can be good to go. So yeah, you just put the Azir emblem on, or you just put the Challenger emblem on Azir, slam a Shiv, and a Jeweled Gauntlet, call it a day. You don't want to do things like Archangel Staff, that sort of thing, because Challenger is more of a mow you over type of comp. So I really do like Jeweled Gauntlet instead. Definitely don't go for Rage Blade because you have so much innate attack speed already built in. And then this is the board you roll for at 7, and then at 8 you just add in Quinn or Sona. I like Quinn because your highest cap for this board, if you're able to go 9, is adding Aatrox, and that'll give you that Slayer synergy there. And once you have Aatrox, this cap, it goes insane. Feels very strong. So if you do have the Challenger emblem, I look to play Azir and Fiora first, and then put the items here. Social distancing is extremely powerful in this build. Defensive dash is extremely powerful in this build. I really like. And next up, we have Vertical Shurima. This is the last of the emblem based builds I have, although emblems I think work in every single build. That's why emblems are so crazy. I think this is why Urf is so good. But this is a 6 Shurima build. This is kind of like the default that I look for, and your duo carry is going to be Fiora. So essentially, it's just the indicator to play this is if you have a Shurima emblem, Shurima crest, whatever, or Shurima's legacy, and then you look for the emblem. Things like transfusion are great, but just general combat augments are going to be great for you. Social distancing can be really good, all that good stuff. Yeah, bunch of good stuff to play here. Long distance pals can be good. You position a little bit differently. You put Azir over here and then Fiora over here, and then you can duo carry them. This is a duo carry Fiora and Azir, but Azir is really the star of the show in this one, but Fiora is very strong. So what we're going to be doing here is how many units we have on the board. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to roll for this board minus the Sona, so we will not have the Demacia active until 8. If you can skip 7 and go 8, that's perfect, but, you know, mostly how games play out, you can't really skip 7. And so we're going to look for this board. Very, 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 very powerful. I really like Rageblade Gunblade in this build because we are very tanky with Shurima, and we can just stall a lot and keep our Fiora healthy and move into that. You can go like Archangel third or whatever third. Giant Slayer third is going to be great for you. But yeah, guys, I really like this one. This one's really easy to play. You just look for 6 Shurima, and it's always going to be these ones. Your cap is going to be Aatrox at 9, and you'll be good to go. Next up, we have Rogue Reroll, and there are loads of variations of this build based off of a lot of different conditions. And if there's any board that is hard forceable right now, it is this one because it is extremely stable on 2-star. And if this is unchanged going into live, I am certain there will be people degen rerolling this board, especially people who love playing assassins. So this is a Kiana and Katarina duo at the time of making this video. There could be some changes, of course. And then the rest of your board, it really depends on other things like the Ixtal, what other units you're hitting. Do you have an emblem, that sort of thing? But I think the indicator to play this comp is maybe you start the game. If you want to hard force it, go for it. But if I start the game with Vampiric Blades and I have like a Graves 2-star, I'm playing this board. I played this last night. It was the freest first in my life. I think I went first with like 70 health and like 50 gold left over after I hit my 3 stars. So yeah, it's pretty easy. I really like Vampiric Blades, and then just other combat augments are going to be good here. If you get something like Jewel Lotus, it actually helps out your itemization quite a bit. But just looking at items like Katarina, I just like going balls to the wall damage here. But Katarina, dude, this build feels really strong. I played last night and I just put random garbage on her. I had like a Crown Guard, right? I'd write Crown Guard and some random garbage on her. Felt really strong and was really, really, really good. So yeah, just look for crit items there. And then I really like this itemization on Kiana. And then I really like having shred items, so you just like full one-shot the backline once you hop. And so I like Ionic Spark on Echo, and I like Evan Shroud on my Graves, but those are not a must. But I would go for this Ionic Spark if I can. I definitely would look for that. Now, the rest of your comp, if the Ixtal is good, so if it's anything like Electric, Inferno, and then Ice, those can all be very good unless your rogues de-aggro twice, especially if the locations are on the front line. Now, if the locations aren't on the front line, definitely don't worry about playing Milio and this Ixtal shit. Don't worry about it. And then we want to play Mordekaiser and Scion, but it's just really random Noxus units. Now, if you have an emblem, if you have a rogue emblem, your board looks very different because you can just drop Graves and then you can put an emblem on Darius and you can look to reroll Darius. That's what I played last night, and I just put like a Sterex Titans rogue emblem on him. Man, that felt good. And you play Darius Warwick over these two right here, and then we're going to be playing Mordekaiser, of course, to get Slayer on our Kiana. We want to slow roll on 6 and or slow roll on 7. So that's pretty much what we want to look for. We want to look for early 2 stars if we can. So if you need to roll it down on 6, if you want to streak, or roll it down on 7 to hit your 2 stars, that is very important. It's very stable on 2 stars, and we'll look for that. And you just look to flex on emblems and that sort of thing, and if the Ixtal is good for you. Right, now we are on to the emblemless boards. I actually do have one more emblem board because that is the indicator to play another reroll that I will show you guys. That is the Cho Bitem in a second. But this one is the standard Shurima Fiora duo carry. This is very simple to hit. How many units we have on board? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means Aatrox is our level 8. So we're going to roll for this board minus Aatrox on 7, and it is quite stable if you can hit. So yeah, this is just an Azir Fiora duo carry. As you can see, the synergies fit perfectly here. Very, 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 very nice. And so indicators to play this comp are, you know, if you have good Azir items, but if you have something like Shurima's Legacy and then you're pushing into this, or, you know, or you have some good, you know, a lot of times you can carry Nefiri. If you have like Fiora items on Nefiri, you can carry Nefiri in the early game and move it over to Fiora. I really like that. Also, you can look for a Nefiri 3 angle if you're rolling 6 and 7 and you hit a lot of Nefiris, or you're on something like Rat Town, that sort of thing. Nefiri reroll can be very strong in this build. I played that as well. And then other augments I really like are Transfusion, Tactical Superiority, but just basically a lot of combat augments are going to be very good for you. So you just roll for this board minus Aatrox. Pretty simple to play, guys. Azir items are everything you guys have been used to playing on Azir. You can go GS, that sort of thing. Tank items go on Nasus, and you're good to go, guys. I really like this board. Very simple, and I think everybody should learn how to play this one. Okay, next up we have Cho Bitem, and I will be the first one to say I've never played this board. I really don't like playing rerolls, but it is extremely easy to play, and I've watched there's been a lot of people in my games playing this, and I've seen what's been successful on them. This is pretty good if you have a Bruiser Heart. So the indicator to play this is if you have a Bruiser Heart, a Bruiser Emblem, as well as if you have, like, if you're playing something like Caitlyn, you have Stars Are Born and you already have a Cho'Gath 2, and then you can get a really early Cho'Gath 3, that can be very nice for you. So this board is really simple, guys. We play Bruisers. You play 6 Bruisers and Malzahar. And after that, you just play really good units. So just like high value 4 costs, like something like Silco, something like Ashe can be powerful in this build. It gives you Freljord, and Ashe is just a great filler unit. Play random legendaries like Heimerdinger, like Rise, that sort of thing. Just play high value units for your board. We're going to be looking for other augments that we want. Titanic Strength is great. Support Caches, pretty decent because you're going to be clumped up quite a bit, and there's just a lot of good items that you can go for the support stuff, but there's loads of different augments you can go for. So itemization, Sterak's is very good because just read what it says. Once per combat at 60% health, gain 25% max health and 35% attack damage, especially comboed with something like Titanic Strength. But even without Titanic Strength, just if you have an early Cho'Gath stacking, he just gets huge with this. Other than that, I really like Bramble and Spark, and then I like to have a redemption next to my Cho'Gath, but if you can't do that and you just need a bit of redemption on your Cho'Gath for tempo, something like that, put it on your Cho'Gath right there. I really like that. Additionally, you don't have to necessarily build Spark. You could build Shiv on your backline. Malzahar, I really like Blue Buff, Jewel Gauntlet, and Giant Slayer. So the 3 stars we're going to be rolling for here are Malzahar, Cho'Gath, and Vi. You can look for Renekton 3 while you're rolling. That's fine. But Renekton 3 will always come out for a Sejuani 2 or a Scion 1. It just always will come out for that. It's not worth holding that on your board. You could maybe drop the Void Remora if you have a 3-star Renekton. He's popping off and just don't play Rek'Sai. That can be fine. But typically, that's the one you don't play. But yeah, guys, pretty simple. We roll for this. If you get a really early Cho'Gath 3, maybe you can forego Malzahar 3 and maybe play something like Kai'Sa and look for Kai'Sa items. But typically, yeah, you look for these 3 stars. Extremely easy to play and a lot of fun. Next up, we have Juggernaut, Strategist, Azir, and Silco duo carry. This is a pretty standard composition. This is a 4 Jugg, 3 Strategist, and then we're going to do a lot of horizontal traits right here. This is Azir man carry with Silco side carry. Silco, as I said before, will almost always be a side carry. We'll roll for this board minus either Swain or Jarvan. Swain is probably the easiest one we're going to be hitting here. And yeah, I really like this board. Very stable on 7, very stable on 8. Transfusion, great in this board. Adrenaline Rush, great in this board. Jewel Lotus, great in this board. You can actually go True 2s, whichever one gives you the health for your 2 costs. I'm kind of blanking on the exact name of it, if it's called True 2s or not. Whichever one gives you that, it kind of gives your whole team Cybernetic. It's very, very, very good. I really like that one as well. But just pretty standard, you can go for these ones. Guys, pretty easy, guys. You just roll for Juggernauts. If you can chase 6 Juggernaut, like you have some emblems, it is worth going for. It is a lot of damage reduction, and you can cap on something like 6 Juggernaut when you go 9, that sort of thing. You could probably switch out Swain for something, maybe play Ahri back here, maybe move items from Silco to Ahri. Those are some variations that you can play, but this is the standard one you look for. Very easy build to play, very strong, very stable. And last up, I just wanted to show you guys a standard Aphelios build that you can play that doesn't require emblems, but although emblems are great, like Bastion emblems, Juggernaut emblems, anything that gives you tankiness is going to be great in Aphelios' build. I don't have augments listed here, but you know, anything that allows you to buy more time, like Morning Light if you want to dip into Bastions, you know, Transfusion, all that good stuff. All those are going to be great for you. You have my sword, maybe give your Aphelios more damage is going to be great as well. So just looking at this board, this is just an option to play here. So the core components of this build are going to be Aphelios, Silco, Soraka, Shin, and Taric. And then other than that, we're just playing what we hit. So if you hit a Sejuani 2 and you hit a Scion, that's going to be a great additional frontline to play in your team. We want to play GP, but before you play GP, you can play Jinx, right? If you want to back on your GP, that's fine, but I just think frontlining here is great because we just buy a lot more time for our big Wellington over here. But yeah, if you want to backline him and that's doing great for you, go ahead and go for it. Some other things you can play here, you can play some like Juggernaut frontline, like if you end up wanting to do that, like you don't hit the Sejuani, you want to play like Nasus 2 plus a Warwick 2. Just know that there's loads of flex spots in this build. The core is Aphelios, Shin, Taric, Silco, Soraka, and you'll be good to go. But yeah, guys, additionally, Aphelios items, if you have Gunner active, I actually do like Runans on him, but it is definitely not necessary. I think Runans is just a really good early game slam, can get you a lot of tempo, and then with comboed with the Deathblade and Gunner procs, can be very good for you. You do want to have some type of armor shred in this build. It's like Evan Shroud. You could, if you don't have armor shred, drop Soraka for Ashe. That can be fine. But I do like this setup right here. You could also play Rise, like Ixtal Rise, that sort of thing can help buy time for your team. So look for those angles if you have them. Random legendaries fit very well in this board. As I said, loads of flex spot, and this is just kind of like a standard position to play from. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for my comps. There are loads of more comps to play that I didn't mention in this video, and loads of other stuff that are successful. I can't guarantee these will be meta, but I think you should definitely be learning these, and this will give you a head start. Appreciate you guys. Make sure and drop a follow, write a comment, like the video. It helps me out on YouTube if you guys want me to keep making videos like this. I will continue to make them no matter what because I fucking love TFT. I'll see you guys on the next one.